Assalamu alaikum everybody. I have a project to share with you today. We are making these little prayer carpets to help kids remember how many rakat are for each of the fard prayers and for the sunnah prayers for each of the fard. So I have a couple of templates that are available on my website that you can download and print out. And I'm showing you some of the materials that I'm using right now to make these. Like I have the embroidery thread to do the little carpet tassels, and of course my needle. But the thing is, I'm using some drawing paper that's 70 pound, and it actually turns out not to be a great idea. But I went ahead and printed these off, and now I'm just using my paper trimmer to trim them down, and I think that they should be a little bit longer and more narrow, and you can certainly cut them down further once you print them out. I use my little tiny hole punch to give several little holes on the edge of the little paper prayer carpet, and then we're going to put some tassels on it to make it look like a real carpet. Now this part is quite tedious and it took a long time to do, and my embroidery thread is a little different than the one that I originally used when I did this project several years ago. And once I was done with the first sample one, I realized that it wasn't going to look so great, partially because the paper is so thin, and I just felt like it was going to tear easily, and also the embroidery thread that I was using wasn't fraying well. Sorry, I forgot that word. Alright, so I'm going to give it a second go here, and this time I'm printing it off on watercolor paper, but this is still not heavy duty watercolor paper, and I did not print it off yet. I'm coloring the different sections where I think that each of those cards are going to go. And you can see that I didn't quite estimate correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and trim these down, and then I'm going to just fill in those areas that are still white. But the paper is still not quite as thick as my original set. And you'll be able to see that at the very end and compare the two different kinds. Now, I did this project years and years ago with my oldest son, who is now 17. I did it back when he was maybe 8 years old. And we spent like about, I don't know, maybe a week or less working on the project, and we used color pencils for the whole thing. And of course, for this time around, I'm using like my craft supplies and kind of getting, into it in a crafty way. But I don't think that they looked as authentic as the ones that we originally did. So here's that set that we made several years ago, and you can tell that the little tassels for the rugs look a little bit more authentic for an actual prayer carpet. And on each of the prayer carpets, we did a unique design. We chose colors that represented the time of day for each of those prayers, and then we drew a little something iconic on each of the prayer carpets. And then on the back, we wrote in how many rakat for each prayer and the sunnah as well. So if you want to get your free template, you can visit my website at homeschoolingformuslims.com. Thanks for watching.